achievable. I mean, I found that compared to high school, going from high school to community college, I found the community college classes so much easier.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Professor Gobala, and as you can see, we're here in beautiful Ibiza, and I have a really good friend of mine, Edwin, and I'm gonna going good. And I'm gonna just be talking to him about, again, what I like to do on the YouTube channel is talk about his process of how he became an electrical engineer, and see if any of the information that he gives out can help the viewers, be as successful as he is. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Edwin. I grew up in the Bay Area, California, San Francisco area. I graduated college about 3 years ago, and I've got one job straight out of college. It's just been there ever since so far.
Yeah, so I like to first start from the beginning in terms of how was it growing up in the Bay? How was the culture? Did you face any adversities growing up Mexican in the Bay? And things, just dive in, things like that. Talk about that.
Well, I don't think it was really being Mexican. Well, actually, growing up in elementary school, they wanted to put me into English as a second language, but I already spoke English just because of my ethnicity. So they tried to separate me out, and my mom really had to fight to be like, "Hey, get him out of that program. He's a normal student, put him with the normal students. Don't separate him."
Yeah.
So that was elementary school. But from that point, everything was fairly okay. Our town is not the greatest in terms of educational opportunities. We didn't have shop class or stuff like that. We had basic things. So, it was challenging for me. I didn't take high school too seriously. So, I was sort of a C average student, but I knew I wanted to be an engineer. But I originally was computer engineering, but so I started in community college for that. Really took my time, redid all the classes that I messed up from high school, started at the very beginning from math because I knew, I have to build up the basics again. So I took freaking 10 math classes, I think, in community college, and then eventually transferred. There's a program, I think it's for California, where if you maintain good grades in community college, you're basically guaranteed a spot at a four-year university.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's called the TAG program.
Okay.
I tagged in from community college to UC Davis. And, I got in there, It was very challenging because community college is semester system, which is 18 weeks per class. And then UC Davis is quarter system, which is about 10 weeks per class, so that's an adjustment. It's like a rush. You're like, all right, second week, exam.
Yeah.
It's very quick.
Yeah, so just a couple of things I want to talk about, right?
Okay.
And the first one is, in terms of, you said high school, you didn't really try too much. I was kind of the same way in terms of when I was in high school, I played a lot of sports, right? And my goal or my mission was basically to get a scholarship, right? Playing sports in college, But then I got injured, right? And it started I started to realize that the sports route might not be the best in terms of you might get a scholarship, and then, these coaches are quick to let you go if they don't have any need for you, especially back in 2015 when I graduated from high school. So I was also in a rush of getting accepted. And when I started out at NIU, I was in basic math, right? I started from basics and I moved up. So I want you to talk to us about that procedure, right? Of, hey, I wasn't the best student, but now I want to switch and go to a community college. How was that process of applying to colleges for you? Knowing that hey, again, right, not necessarily having the best grades, but I want to become an engineer, right?
Okay, so my plan basically from high school was I knew I wanted to be an engineer. My path forward was community college because it's cheaper. It's, more, accessible. You don't have to apply to go to community. You just pay and you go in. So I never took the ACT. SAT, because those exams are for if you want to apply to like 4-year universities and really go through like the vetting process of like, are you smart enough to get into the school?
Yeah.
So I avoided that completely because I felt like I was not smart enough to get, I would get rejected immediately. So I went straight to the community college, build up my basics, and then like I said, I used that program to tag into that UC Davis straight from community college.
And what community college did you go to?
Napa Valley College.
Napa Valley College. Okay. And when the class is hard, easy compared
Honestly,
to a 4-year community 4-year college?
Compared to university, they were easier because, like I said, they're longer and the classes are smaller, way smaller. In university, they're like 200 people in there, and the professors. It's not that they don't care, but they have bigger things to deal with. Like they do research to get like their money to keep their job, basically.
Yeah.
But in community college, the teachers that's kind of like their side thing. Like they have a main job and they like to teach on the side. They really enjoy it. So I felt like the teachers at community college were actually more hands-on and more like helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that when you have a smaller class, like you're saying, a teacher could be more personable with their students, right?
Yeah.
As a result, maybe the student finds the class easier because they're getting actual help from the professors. This is talking about a community college, right? Versus, again, at the university, it's bigger halls, bigger, like, the professors might just be there for the research, like you mentioned. Okay, so then let's talk about this program you talked about. What was it called again?
TAG.
So the TAG program allowed you to be successful in community college while getting accepted into UC Davis, which is a 4-year college. So did you have to apply after the community college, or was it automatically acceptance?
I did apply. I don't remember exactly how it went, but I know I was talking to the counselor at the community college and say, hey, this is my path forward. They told me about the TAG program. They say, okay, as long as you maintain these grades, you're basically in. I think it was like a 3 GPA.
Okay. 3.0. Okay.
Yeah. As like the minimum, which was very achievable. I mean, I found that compared to high school, going from high school to community college, I found the community college classes so much easier. Like maybe my mentality changed where I was like, okay, I'm here. I want to be here. I'm paying to be here. But I really felt like it was easier than high school.
Yeah. Talking about paying to be, I feel like when you start putting down your own money, right, it's like, all right, I got to get serious, right? Yeah. I felt the same way when I went to NIU. I had to take out my first big loan, right? And that loan kind of put into perspective that every class that I missed or didn't attend was averaged around $22, right? Yeah. So that kind of allowed me to be like, all right, you know what? I'm still a broke college student. I better get to class, and really try my best to make this investment worth it, right? So UC Davis, tell us about the program, the electrical. So you're electrical engineer, any emphasis or anything like that, or just?
So originally I tagged in for computer engineering. That was my background focus in like community college. And then I think I was about a year into Davis where I was like, you know what, this is not for me. I don't like coding. Like I figured out, like I hate coding. I didn't have a strong background in it. And then so I'm like, okay, electrical engineering is more hardware based, more math. I'm okay with that. I like math,
Yeah.
So a lot of the classes, they have the same requirements of classes in order like to switch lanes.
Yeah.
It did add like an extra year. But I felt much more comfortable in those classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like to ask my interviewees, what was your toughest class as an electrical engineer? And what was your easiest class as an electrical engineer?
Like as in community college?
At UC Davis, at the 4-year UC Davis course, yeah.
The hardest class, I would say, was communication electronics, which is basically like radios, like transmitters, receivers. That class was so hard. Like the teacher, the professor, he's a hardcore guy, very smart. He's basically, but he was like, either you know it or you don't. And if you didn't have a strong background in like circuits already, you were gonna have a really tough time. I think our class average was like 20%.
Oh wow, yeah. I think communications, that's like amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, things like that. Yeah. So that is a tough class, but I think that class is like a core it's a core like that, and signals and systems. I believe are like the two main core courses for every electrical engineer to know. So what was your easiest?
My easiest class as an electrical engineer. Let's see here. That would probably be. Oh, it's an elective course.
Okay.
But it counted as like technology background for my degree, I guess, where it was basically just learning about drones. Like drones and planes. It was like a 1 unit or 2 unit class, super easy. Like but it was very interesting too because you learn about like what do you call it, like the airspace for like drones, like how it actually works, and then you write like maybe 3 essays for the course, and that's it. Super easy.
Yeah, I feel like the electives, again, because this is like your senior year, your last year, it's more geared towards like, okay, high level, let's talk about these things, do a project, maybe present it to the course at the end of the semester. But it's more about, okay, you're pretty much done with your main courses, you've made it, but now let's talk about how to use those main courses in applications in the industry, right? You're talking about drones. I did one in terms of control theory where we talked about like PLCs. I even took a patent course where we kind of talked about the main things on how to patent your invention, right? Because as electrical engineers, we know a lot of the theory, right? And we want to invent things, right? But then, all right, so how do we put it out there into the market so that it generates some type of revenue or people can also use our products? So that patent class was also very cool. Yeah, so let's continue by talking about going from university to industry, right? How was that? Did you go to any career fairs?
Yeah.
Is there something that you can like tell the viewers like how you transition from that and things that they can do? Maybe you did any internships or maybe you had any mentors, just things like that. General things.
Well, honestly, I didn't do any internships, which is not a smart move on my part. If I did, I would have networked. Like I know people who did do a bunch of internships, and they had a job like that easy. They already knew people at the corporation, like big ones like Intel, Nvidia. Pretty big companies. I basically just focused on career fairs, go in there, presentable with a resume, say, hey, I'm looking for electrical engineering roles. And I got a few interviews that way, and then I eventually found my current job, my current career, and it's been working out so far.
Okay, so my next question is, has your engineering career kind of changed the way you think about everyday things in life?
Yeah, I would say so. At my job, stuff breaks, and there's like a reverse order of like troubleshooting that you do to figure out what went wrong. So something breaks in the house or something in my car, it's not working right. Start with this, then get to the more complicated stuff. Simplest stuff first, then more complicated. Whatever's most accessible. You don't want to tear the whole thing apart on the first try. That's a waste of time, energy, and it could have been just like a little thing. Oh, it was unplugged.
Yeah. The way, in terms of that, the way it's changed my perspective is that now I understand the concept of fixing something by a little bit. So, for example, if you can unscrew a bolt by an inch, you can take the whole thing out, right? So it's kind of like that grinding mentality. So that's how it's changed my perspective on life situations, right? Do small steps to solve the bigger problem, right? And then continue in terms of that. What is like the coolest thing that you're currently working on in like your personal endeavors, your personal life?
Personal like projects?
Yeah, any projects that you're doing?
Yeah, actually, it's in progress. More of an idea, but so my senior project for school was an RC car that can follow lines, and drive by itself automatically.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just take that car, but have like a POV camera on it.
Okay.
And then, so you wear like those goggles that they do with drones, but then you drive the car with like an actual steering wheel or something, I think that would be really sick.
Yeah.
Super fun. So drive around the neighborhood or something, or do some off-roading.
And you say you did this for your senior design?
Well, the senior design was the RC car that drove by itself. So have to do some research to figure out how to integrate the wheel, get the first-person camera, figure out a range, like what type of range can I get with this stuff, that's an idea I've had for a while.
Okay. And again, because of my background, also because of it's a buzzword currently right now. Have you ever thought about integrating something like AI into something like that, or what are your general thoughts about like using AI for an application like that?
I think it depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, it definitely can work. Like for the senior design part, there's definitely AI algorithms that can, better see the lines. Like there's competitions where these things go like 40
Mm,
miles an hour. It's
hmm.
crazy, and they use AI for that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it definitely has its usefulness
Yeah.
in projects.
Kind of a controversial question here now. Uh, a lot of people think that something like AI is going to take over like our jobs or something like that. What are your thoughts on that in terms of like the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see AI algorithms taking over electrical engineering jobs?
5 to 10 years, I could see some replacement. Yeah, with like PCB design. I think I
Hmm.
remember a lecture in school, like a seminar, where they were showing that AI can generate PCBs. Can make design. You tell it the requirements, and it makes it.
Yeah.
So I think there could be some replacement in that sector, but at the same time, like someone has to check that design, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a little more hands off for the electrical engineers. They have a software that does that. Maybe it's like system analysis. Like you have SPICE programs.
Yeah.
People used to do it before by hand, but now you have the SPICE program
Yeah.
to do it for you. It's much easier.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be something like that in that sense.
Yeah. I like to look at it as human machine interaction. The machine can aid you or help you. You can use it as a tool to get to your end product faster, but you still need a human, a cognitive, like reasonable human, to still validate the processes that are happening. Right? You
Exactly.
can't just again, maybe you can, but not in, I don't think in our lifetime. Right? The algorithms are very very complex, and I think it will just take longer than this 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That a lot of the high level like inventors or entrepreneurs are talking about, right? You talk about like the Elon Musk, right? The Jeff Bezos, guys like that. Um, all right. So, what do you like to do for your hobbies, man? Since you're a big time engineer now,
Yeah.
what are you fascinated about? What do you like to do?
I like going to the gym.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
something I never really did before.
Mhm.
But getting older, bro, like you got to take care of yourself. Eat
Yeah.
healthier. Like, you go to work with older people and you see who didn't take care of themselves, and that's a big thing. I'm
Mhm.
realizing. So, gym, um, hobbies. I really like movies. I'm
Okay.
a movie guy.
Nice.
I like to
Nice.
watch movies and like really like think about it.
What's
You
your
watch a good movie and you're like
yeah?
thinking about it.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a good one. I really like.
Mine is Training Day by Denzel
That's a
Washington.
good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like those Christopher Nolan movies, man. Like
Mm.
The Prestige.
Mm,
That
mhm.
one's really good.
That was
Or
good.
Memento.
Okay, Memento's good. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm a movie buff myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Going back to the gym hobby, I think that's very very important. I
definitely.
think that in the midst of life, right, especially if you're studying engineering, people get you know too worked out, too stressed, I should say, with the engineering that they forget about life, wellness, right?
Yeah.
Going for runs, going to the gym, picking up a hobby like basketball, soccer, right? Because again, life is going to keep going, and the best medicine for your body is getting your heart rate up in some way, right?
Yeah.
I've noticed that as well in terms of older people who neglected the gym when they were younger, and now they're trying to catch up, get a personal trainer, and sometimes some damages cannot be undone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to start early.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you play any sports?
I like tennis. Nothing
Okay.
professional, just with friends, But
Yeah.
that's a good workout. Like you run back and forth.
Yeah.
That one's fun. Even something a little more relaxed is golf.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
always
you have the
thought,
golf set.
yeah, I always thought that was like an old people, rich people sport, which it is. It's very expensive, but
Yeah.
man, you get tired. Like getting the swing right,
Yeah.
like full on golf, mini golf that is completely different from the long drives and everything.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've golfed once and was actually with my cousin Etingen. And we paid for 18 holes, but we ended at 9. And we went home.
You got
You
too
know?
tired.
Yeah, we got too tired. And to this day, I don't think people find their same balls. Like if you hit it at hole 1 and you look at the general
Oh.
area, there's many different balls there. You know, if people just say, "Oh, that's my ball," it's like, how do you know for a fact? You know, I don't
You
know.
gotta
But
know, man. You don't recognize your own balls.
I mean, all of them are the same, in my opinion, right? It's all white, you know, shaped the same. Like, how do you memorize your ball? But again, like you said, it is a hard sport. It's a tough sport. I'm not knocking it down, but I guess it's not for me. But yeah, golfing is good. Golfing is good.
Yeah.
So I just want to conclude the interview by asking you a question that I ask everyone. What is one piece of advice that you would give to the viewers?
I mean, honestly, it's like you say, like, don't give up. Like, there were a lot of points where I'm like, dude, I'm like bashing my head against the wall trying to figure out this math problem or study for this final. And I'm like, dude, this is incredibly stressful. Is this all going to be worth it? And yeah, it's worth it now.
Yeah, don't give up. I think that's a big one. I mean, we've all been there, and I think that when you're going through that actual process, right? I also think you should kind of sit back and understand that you have to go through these hardships in order to become successful, right? So appreciate those hardships instead, right? You're going through a calculus problem. You're going through a circus problem right now, and you're like bashing your head in, like you were saying. Just understand and appreciate that this is, right, the pathway to be successful, right? So again, don't give up. All right, Edwin. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
If you like the video, please hit the like button, and also please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps the algorithm. Thank you.